With one click, you can build your new Toyota. Get a quote. Search current special offers. You can even see offers not seen on TV. BuyAToyota.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to Toyota's Patriots Today. I'm Lindsay Petruni. As the Patriots edge closer and closer to their first regular season matchup, it's safe to say that Thursday night's preseason game against St. Louis will be a little different than the first two. Here's Brian Lowe with 3 key points to look for when the Pats take on the Rams.
It's that magic week of the preseason, week number 3. You know, the one in which the starters generally play the most. So when the Pats line up to face the Rams, we should get our best clues to date as far as which players are being counted upon in which roles. From an offensive standpoint, with Tom Brady and company likely to be on the field at least through the first half, take note of how balanced their attack is. Last week against Atlanta, Brady was at the controls deep into the second quarter, and the Pats had 14 run plays and 14 pass plays in the first half. If there continues to be a commitment to offensive balance against St. Louis, that's a good sign for how balanced the Pats hope to be come the regular season. And as Brady pointed out in Atlanta last week, a strong ground game can make a big difference.
You control the whole game if you're able to run the ball. Problems are when you can't run the ball, and then it's really one-dimensional, and then passing situations, they're just teeing off. So you hate to hand off on first down and be 2nd and 9, because then you're not going to want to run the ball.
Looking for an indication that the Patriots' pass rush is coming along? Well, this game should give you a sense of relief or a sense that much more needs to be done. For starters, Sam Bradford will be St. Louis's starter. The top pick in the draft from Oklahoma obviously has the inexperience factor, meaning Patriots defenders could be licking their chops for a chance to come at him from angles that he might not be expecting. Plus, from a personnel standpoint, the Pats are rounding into shape. Derek Burgess now has 10 days and a game under his belt this preseason. Rob Ninkovich had a sack last week. Marcus Morrell has had a strong preseason. And Tully Bantakane has been back on the field this week after missing the Atlanta game.
I watched the game, and they put together a long drive, but obviously the game was played during the week. In Atlanta, they practice against them all week, so usually if that happens, a team kind of knows how they're going to attack you based on what you showed them during the week. But I thought the guys did well, especially the guys who were playing in my position.
This week, in a pair of lengthy practice sessions inside the Dana-Farber Fieldhouse, the competition for roster spots was ratcheted up. With some key players back on the field after injuries, a trade for a new offensive lineman, and the team as a whole turning the page from training camp mode to a more regular season feel, the Pats are closing in on the month of September. That means players are on high alert, knowing that cuts need to be made. Following Thursday's game, the Pats need to be down to 75 players, so those on the bubble know this could be their last best opportunity to open the eyes of the coaching staff.
We know we have some roster decisions coming up in the near future, and so that's something that we have to kind of keep an eye on.
Now, the big cuts won't come until after the 4th preseason game, a little over a week from now. They'll have to be down to 53 players by then, but certainly already at this point, it's crunch time for the players, coaches, and really the personnel staff as well.
And Brian, speaking of roster cuts, I kind of want to get into the running back situation a little bit. Haven't seen much from Maroney during these preseason games. Have seen a lot from BenJarvus Green-Ellis. Could we potentially see any roster cuts at that position?
Well, I think there might be. It'll be interesting to see if they end up keeping 5 running backs as opposed to only 4 and another guy, wide receiver, or tight end. But Maroney's certainly an interesting guy to look for on Thursday night because he's the one guy among those lead backs that they have who hasn't really gotten a chance to get into the rhythm of the game. Bill Belichick has said during this preseason that he'd like to get each guy a chance to get into the rhythm rather than 2 carries here, 3 carries there. Maroney had some carries against the Saints, including a couple of touchdowns. But if we see him get a lot of carries in this game, I think it tells us Maroney is very much in the plans.
And going back to the preseason game against the Falcons, both rookie tight ends, Gronkowski and Hernandez, pretty much had very productive games. So as we have seen, Hernandez hasn't really been involved in practice much this week, just been there in street clothes. Could this be Gronkowski's breakout opportunity?
Real interesting guy to watch this week. Like you said, Hernandez has been on the sidelines in T-shirts this week. Meanwhile, Rob Gronkowski has had just a huge practice week. He's really been the main target in the red zone. I wish I had started earlier keeping track of exactly how many catches he's been having in practice in the Dana-Farber Fieldhouse. It's been a ton. I think he's very much involved in this offense. But the other catch is the Rams now have 2 preseason games worth of film to watch on Gronkowski. They might be trying to develop some wrinkles here where knowing the Patriots are going to be looking to Gronkowski make life difficult for the rookie. Big game for him, I think, and we're going to really know how much pressure he's going to have in red zone opportunities this year.
And we've seen him doing a lot of conversing with quarterbacks coach Bill O'Brien and Tom Brady. He seems very involved at practice this week, as you said. So we'll have to see what happens on Thursday night against the Rams.
Sure, and Brady certainly is keeping a lot of tabs on these younger guys at practice, as you said, really knowing that they're going to have to rely on these guys.
And someone else who hasn't been at practice this week, wide receiver Julian Edelman. Does this mean that we'll see more of Wes Welker Thursday night?
I wouldn't say that Welker's role is going to be expanded or decreased based on Edelman, because they still have to, the number one priority is making sure not to overwork Wes Welker and hinder his health. But I do think we're going to see Welker for more than one series, maybe 2, maybe 3. Maybe the ball gets thrown his way 4, 5, 6 times as opposed to the 3 that he had last week. Edelman hasn't been at practice, so certainly something to keep an eye on. But I don't think those two situations for a preseason game are too interrelated.
All right. Thanks a lot, Brian.
All right, Lindsay.
And we'll be bringing you full coverage of the Pats against the Rams from Gillette Stadium on Thursday night. We'll see you next time on Toyota's Patriots Today.